Hey guys, it's Irasema with GRITR, and today we're going to talk about flinching while we're shooting. If you're a little bit newer into your shooting journey, then you might be experiencing some flinching feedback when you're shooting. And so today we're going to talk about some tips on how to minimize that and kind of get over any sort of fear that's associated with shooting downrange. Shooting and flinching usually happen for three reasons. One can be some anticipation of the shot actually coming out. So this is any tension that's happening in the hands, or maybe also just really thinking that you have to bear down much more than you need to. Second reason might be actually sound sensitivity. So typically this is the reason that we actually see as most common, is actually reacting to the sound or expecting it to be much louder than it actually is. And then the third reason can be actually trying to manage recoil. So the flinching might actually be happening at a different time than the previous two mentioned reasons, and might be happening actually post-ignition. So we'll be talking more about this and giving you some tips. So let's head on over to the range. Hey guys, so now that we're on the range, let's talk about some tips and tricks to minimize flinching while shooting. So again, if you're a little bit newer and you're just kind of getting the hang of things, one of the biggest tips that you can actually do to stop flinching is dry firing. And so all that means is that we're going to mimic our setup as closely as possible as if we were actually shooting with an empty mag and nothing in the chamber. So here I have an empty mag and a clear gun. So all I'm going to do is, this is my normal setup, I'm going to dry fire. So one thing that you can start off with to get comfortable with the trigger is to actually look down at the trigger as you're pulling it. So an example would be, as I'm pulling this, is I'm looking for where that wall breaks on that trigger. So I'm pulling and it breaks, right? So one thing that happens is that we anticipate how hard we need to actually pull the trigger. The trigger will be pulled, you'll naturally be able to do that. So really it's just a matter of getting comfortable around what we're doing. The second thing that I would do is actually doing this at speed. So making sure that we have a good grip on the gun, we're gonna press out, and we pull the trigger. So it really doesn't matter where you're looking as you're getting comfortable. As long as the gun is in a safe direction, then we're good to go. So we press out and pull the trigger. And you notice that when I'm doing this, I'm not actually lingering with the finger on the trigger. I'm going in as I'm breaking the shot. So I come in, pull the trigger. So I would really encourage you guys to test this out, to dry fire. This is also a great way to warm up before you're actually live firing on the range, to just kind of get a little bit comfortable, get those nerves out. The second reason that a lot of people flinch is actually sound sensitivity. And so one of the biggest things is to actually double plug, so wearing foamies and then over the ear pro, or making sure that you're getting ear pro that is very high in noise cancellation. So biggest thing there is actually making sure that you're not looking for sound. So if you're someone who's shooting at an indoor range, I would definitely recommend double plugging, as things tend to be a little bit louder, especially as we're in between walls and sound is bouncing off. The third thing that we can do is a ball and dummy drill. So you would take a mag, you would throw in regular ammo, and then you'd get something like a snap cap, or sometimes called a dummy round, and throw it in with the ammo. So as we're shooting, we don't know which one is a live fire round and then which one's the dead round. And so as you're going through, you'll notice that if you get a dead round, right? So let's say I'm shooting normal, and I come across that dummy round, we might see this thing happen. And so what's happening is that you're just anticipating breaking the shot and wanting to manage the recoil. A good thing to think about here is that as long as the gun is pointed in the direction where you want the bullet to go, it's going to go in that direction, and there's nothing really else that you need to control in that sense. So as we're coming out, the gun's in a safe direction, I'm ready to shoot, and I don't need to anticipate doing anything in that situation. Building our grip. So grip is going to be your foundation for the gun. Really, we want to think about making sure that we're understanding what each hand is doing and not isolating one thing over the other. And so what I mean by that is that as we're pulling the trigger, that we're not squeezing down at the bottom of the gun as we're doing this. So what that looks like when we're actually pulling is we'll throw it to the left, right? So we want to make sure that we have even, equal pressure between both hands. So squeezing with the support hand to actually be able to manage and give us a good foundation. And we just break the shot nice and easy. I hope these tips really help you and get you more comfortable going on the range. And we'll see you out here at GRITR at our indoor range if you're in Texas and we're ready to get training.